I'll start the video differently. I'm just letting you know, guys, that I don't have any Patreon or anything. I think Patreon is some kind of OnlyFans of all the content creators, because we make contents and it gets paid, something like that. And make sure you check the angles at the right top. We are going to press tab, merge vertices. Next, we will extrude those lines and press R to add more cuts. Then we are going to subdivide, select all those vertices, press numpad 1 and just grab it up. So our main goal is to make those lines something like a hair. Now we are going to make copies by using arrays. Add the number according to the type of hair you want. Again, going to add the array to duplicate the hair. Then we are going to save it. Make sure you save that. Then we are going to select it and we are going to convert it to curve, as we have to bend it as well. Add depth. So it'll look something like this, but it's not what we want. Then we will shade smooth and press tab to make the vertices look better. Just hold it up and move it to the upper side, G plus X. Going to select the edges only, and then we are going to drag it upwards as well. Now it looks beautiful. Then we are going to convert it again to mesh, as we have to make their copies and follow it along the path. Then we are going to add another path. Make sure you copy all the stuff properly. Then we are going to select the hair or the cloth, add the curve modifier, and then we are going to select the path we have given already. Now we are going to add a circle just for the reference to make it round properly. Now we are going to scale it down, and now we just have to press G and move the path to make sure it bends properly, just to make it small. And make sure you make it round properly. Just make sure go into the preferences and in add-ons install the Node Wrangler and download the Blender kit and add that as well. Now I'm going to upload an image just for my reference. You don't have to upload that, as I'm just going to make it round properly. References are so much important in 3D modeling or any kind of workflow, even it's 2D modeling or anything, because it added realism in my work and it will add realism in your work as well. So make sure in any project add some realism, that it will connect the audience with you. Now press Shift A and add that icosphere and click on the left bottom and add more vertices. Now we are going to open the right side of the blender. We are going to add the geometry node, and now we are going to play with all the geometries. Just remember that we have to press Shift A to add those nodes. Then I'm going to scale it down and make sure it's in the middle of the icosphere, and it's looking the cube. So moving forward, I'm going to drag the icosphere in the geometry section. Just make sure you attach it properly. Then I'm going to click on the cloth and make it look different. enable auto smooth as it'll fix those vertices as well. Shift A and add delete geometry node. Then we are going to duplicate the object info, and then we are going to add geometry proximity. Just remember that press Ctrl G to group it, attach those nodes. Just make sure at the top to go back, click on that braid or any name you added, just rename that group, and we are almost done. Now we are going to attach those nodes together. Make sure the values are correct. Now I'm just dragging them. Now you can see all the nodes together. I'm just saving your time. You can easily just pause the video at any group and copy paste all those nodes into your geometry node. I know that it will decrease the watch time in my YouTube, and I won't get my YouTube channel monetized as still it's not monetized. You can easily just follow along and make all the nodes so that you can have that knitting animation. Just remember that go into the object mode and then press Shift A to add an empty of any kind you want, and then drag and drop it into the geometry node of that braid. So you can see that I have my whole watch and everything ready, but just remember that I'm adding my empty into that geometry node. Here you can see I'm dragging another controller or the empty just to explain that how you are going to add. You just have to link it with the offset, and then we'll move towards the here. Just copy all those nodes, and now we are going to add some other stuff as well. You can see that that's how the geometry node and those here gonna look like. You can also see that this is our controller or the empty which we have added, and by moving that we are going to control those here. You can see that this is our controller, and by moving that we are going to control the hair. I'm going to turn it off so you can easily see what I'm actually doing. These are the position I have given. These are the dots you can see. And just remember that I have added some noise. As you can see, I'm going to the graph editor, and then I'm going to select the Z location, and then I'm going to add the key noise, and then I'm going to increase the noise. You can see that how it's moving. That'll make a realistic look into the cloth when it's moving. Same goes for the Z-axis. This is how it'll look like, and this looks amazing to me. Now I'm going to delete that geometry node. Don't worry, it's still there. We are just going to add that later on when we are going to multiply our cloth or the band. Press Shift D and move it to the right side, and then rotate it just a little bit. Then repeat the process to make it more realistic. And then I'm going to press Ctrl J to make it a single object. Add the geometry node modifier, and with that I'm going to select the braid modifier which we created just right now, and then you can see that it's look beautiful, at least to me. So it looks great on a very serious note. Moving forward, I just added a watch which I'll link in the description, or you can download that from any website, or you can add any object you want. You don't have to copy exactly what I created. These nodes are so powerful that you can create some amazing stuff. Just make sure that you have Blender with the simulation nodes, because in the 3.5 or in the latest 3.6 you are going to have the geometry nodes simulation input, and we are going to play with this. Again, we are going to add an empty, which would be sphere or anything you want, and then after creating the geometry node we are going to add that into our geometry node setup, and this is how we are going to link that into our watch particle setup. Just make it to the relative, add that object, and connect that object with the object info. Just make sure that you follow along, and it's super easy. Now you can see that this is how our particles will look like. It's not rendering properly, but in the end it will look amazing. Just download Blender Kit from the internet, as it's the best tool I have ever used in the Blender, and add any object you want, just like I'm adding right now. I'm just adding a simple rock, and now you can see that I have added some rock quick effects, and then I'm going to add explode. Then you will see those settings. You just have to copy all those settings. Now you can see that this is how it looks. Now you have to just copy all those settings, and this simple rock is going to explode. There's no rocket science, it's pretty simple, and it'll help you a lot just to make things more wonderful. And just a reminder that add material which should be dark, because a material would add super amazing colors into your scene and add dim lightning every time, not just hard and fast lightning. If you don't understand this, I'm going to link another video which you can see at the end of the video, that how I created those amazing particle system. So this was the whole tutorial. I hope you like it. It was very short. I could have made that 30 to 40 minutes long and would have increased my watch time, but I just want you guys to follow that easily. So make sure you just subscribe or follow me on my Fiverr instead of just asking for money from the Patreon, as it's just like the only fans of the content creators. So I hope you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you.